So guys, as we get closer to Dooms of Dimension, we talk about another archetype coming out of it, as it's going to be the chance to look at Doom Z, and we see MEDIUS taking on the dark side as the lore continues for this archetype, as we're going to see an interesting strategy emerge, as we'll jump into it right now. But before we do that, we get the shameless plugs out of the way. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Remember to go ahead and check us out on the Instagram, but also we are on the storm to 1,000 subs. It does help out when you guys join up, and we'll get there faster with your help. So let's keep growing together, and let's jump straight to it, as the first monster we have to look at is the level 4s of the Doomsy archetype, and we're going to be looking at Doomsy 5 Almith. Now Almith is and also interestingly enough, before I get to it, the first of the level 4s are all dark dragons, so that is very cool. So I just want to mention that before we get into it. Now, talking about it, if this card is normal or special summoned or destroyed by card effect, you can add one Doomsy monster from your deck to your hand, except Doomsy 5 Almith. While this card is equipped as an equip card, as a quick effect, you can special summon one when Machine exceeds monster from your extra deck with a rank equal to this card's level. This is also treated as an exceed summon, and if you do, attach this card. Also, all cards equipped to it, to that monster, you can only use each effect of Doomsy 5 Almith once per turn. So that's actually a lot, but we'll go over that in a minute. Going into the next one, we have Doomsy 7, this being Alara, being another dark dragon. If this card is normal or special summoned or destroyed by a card effect, you can set one Doomsy spell/trap from your deck. While this card is equipped with an equip card, as a quick effect, you can special summon one when Machine exceeds monster from your extra deck with a rank equal to this card's level. This is treated as an exceed summon, and if you do, attach this card, and also all cards equipped to it, to that monster. You can only use each effect of Doomsy 7 Alara once per turn. So pretty cool. Basically being a mirror, but instead letting you set spells and traps. We got to get around Ash somehow. But now we go to Doomsy 0, this being Drastia. Now Doomsy 0 Drastia allows you can target one Doomsy card you control as cost, destroy it, and if you do, you special summon this card from your hand. Then you can equip one equip spell from your deck to it. While this card is equipped with an equip card, as a quick effect, you can special summon one Wind Machine exceeds monster from your extra deck with a rank equal to this card's level. This is also treated as an exceed summon, and if you do, attach this card, and also all cards equipped to it, to that monster. You can only use each effect of Doomsy 0 Drastia once per turn. So really cool, and there is a lot going for it, as we now have technically the last of the Doomsy associated monsters. However, this one is technically a Power Patron monster, as we go into Power Patron Machine Doomsy. Now this monster allows you to, as you cannot special summon from the extra deck except exceeds monsters, you can only use each of the following effects of Power Patron Machine Doomsy once per turn. You can target one other effect monster you control as cost, special summon from your extra deck one Doomsy exceeds monster or Jupiter the Power Patron of Destruction with a rank equal to the level of that monster you control by using it as material. This is also treated as an exceed summon, and if you do, equip this card you control to it. If this card is destroyed, you can add one Doomsy card from your deck to your hand. Whew, what a mouthful. Now we'll go into the extra deck now, as we have 3, interestingly enough, released with the wave. First being the rank 4, as we are welcoming you to Doomsy Break. Diactorus, almost want to say the wrong word, but yeah, we have Diactorus. It takes 2 level 4 monsters, so this is technically generic. If this card is special summoned, you can destroy one Doomsy card in your hand or face-up field. Then you can destroy one monster on the field. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect while it has a Doomsy monster or Medius the Pure as material, you can add to your hand or send to the graveyard one equip spell from your deck. You can only use each effect of Doomsy Break Diactorus once per turn. So pretty neat. Going into the next one, we actually have I believe this is a rank 8. The first one being the Doomsy and Drasterius. So I'm making sure I get these names right. It takes 3 level 8 monsters, otherwise generically, and the first time that this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect each turn, the first time this card would be destroyed by battle or card effect each turn, it is not destroyed. You can only use each of the following effects of Doomsy and Drasterius once per turn. If this card is exceed summoned, you can equip one other face-up monster on the field to it. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field or in the graveyard as a quick effect, You can detach one material from this card as cost, and then you can negate that effect of resolution, and then you can equip one face-up monster your opponent controls to this card. Pretty cool. Going into the final Xyz monster, we actually have the Power Patron Xyz monster being Jupiter, the Power Patron of Destruction. This is a rank 10 monster that normally would take three level 10 monsters to Xyz, and then once per turn, you can also Xyz summon Jupiter, the Power Patron of Destruction, by using a monster you control equipped with 3 or more equip cards, and you get to transfer its materials to this card. If this card is Xyz summoned, you can equip any number of appropriate equip spells from your graveyard to it. Then you can gain 3,000 attack while it has an Xyz monster as material. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, special summon one Doomsday monster from your graveyard, then you can destroy one card on the field. So pretty good as a revive and a pop. Going into the spells, we have Doomsday Raider as our first one. This is a continuous spell that allows you that during the main phase, you can destroy one other Doomsday card in your hand or face of field, then add to your hand or special summon one Doomsday monster from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Xyz monsters. If this card is destroyed by a card effect, you can target one face-up monster on the field as cost and then destroy it. You can only use one Doomsday Raider effect per turn and only once that turn. Now, we go next into Doomsday Command. This is the equipped spell known as Doomdirg. Now, once per turn during the standby phase, you can inflict 500 damage to the equipped monster's controller. A Doomsday monster equipped with this card or a Wind Machine Xyz monster that has it as material gains these effects. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Once per turn, as a quick effect, you can destroy one other face-up card you control. Also, until the end of this turn, this card gains attack equal to its own level/rank times 100. It can attack directly. Also, if it battles, destroy it at the end of the damage step. So, pretty cool. Now, we're going into the final card, being the trap, being Doomsday Destruction. This is a trap that allows you to target one Doomsday Xyz monster you control as cost, and then equip this card to as an equip card with this effect. Your opponent cannot add cards from the deck to the hand except by drawing them. If this card is destroyed by card effect, you can target one face-up monster on the field as cost, equip one Doomsday monster from your deck to it. You can only use each effect of Doomsday Destruction once per turn. Okay, guys, that is all of the cards currently. Let's talk about a little bit about Doomsday. So, interestingly enough, I don't have too much experience with this archetype in terms of researching it, just because I looked into this. I didn't think it was bad at any means. I just think it's not fully prepared, obviously, because it's this first wave. But I will say, after reading it, I think this deck has an interesting ability to maybe be playable in the metagame. The only reason for this is that this deck kind of gets around certain things in different ways. It is able to effectively make a kind of a splash in terms of what it does. Now, I do think it's kind of strange that for a wind-based Xyz extra deck, it is somewhat synergistic with certain decks you could run. I didn't make this an engine access because I think we still need some decks that can actually synergize a bit better with this. Otherwise, I don't think you should really run this as a engine or a deck with it as an engine. No, Ryzeal synergizes well with this just because there's a bunch of level 4s and you have Xyz you can send. So you can make a weaker version board with some of the cards or backing it up. I think a great example is if you go into something like Alara, being able to just set a Doomsday spell or trap is pretty good, because on top of it, the engine just doesn't have enough monsters. Yes, you can use its effect to go into one card Xyz, because that's, I'm assuming, what the effect of when this card is equipped with an equip card. As a quick effect, you can special summon the wind monster or the wind Xyz on top of the monsters. So I kind of see that as an option. However, I think a deck or an engine like Ryzeal kind of fixes the issue, because you can get those additional level 4s onto the field so that you have the ability to Xyz with this deck, because I think that's one of its weaknesses. Being able to do that and going into something like Diactorus, which is pretty much the only thing if you're going to play Ryzeals you'll go into. I think it's just really cool that you're able to use this effect, and it does have a slightly generic effect to pop. I think the most important thing about Diactorus is that if it's destroyed, while you have the Doomsday or MEDIUS, you are able to add to your hand or send to the graveyard the equip spell from the deck. So effectively, if you were to play a Doomsday version, you want to make sure that if you're going to sit on Diactorus with Ryzeal in the deck, you got to make sure you're at least using this card with like a Doom Z monster as a material, so you have to play some number of them. The reason I mention this is like if you were to play this as like a teched engine, right? You don't want to forget, or play the deck with a teched engine. You don't want to forget that some of these cards only benefit when they have their own monsters in there. So it is important, and the Archmage cards do have some synergy with it. Obviously, with Medius the Pure being a part of the like broader lore archetype, so it is important. But additionally, when you look at stuff like Drastius and we look at Power or Jupiter, I think these cards are fantastic as bosses because they're actually pretty powerful for what it is, especially Drastius being able to effectively just snatch up cards as, you know, like equipping them. I think that's just really strong as a removal because we've only really seen this be sort of used during I'm not going to talk about like 104. That doesn't really count to me. I'm talking about more like when we were playing in Snake Eyes format and people would push cards into the spell and trap card zones, like that type of removal. Because yes, you know, like attaching them as an Xyz material would be cool, but I think by equipping them into the like spell and trap card zone, I think that's actually a really cool concept that we don't tech enough, because in the way I think it's cool that you're basically taking control of the cards and then you're forcing them to be like equip cards, so it does give some interesting synergies, but also it keeps the materials in a really interesting place because a lot of times you can't interact fully, so like no one's really running like spell and trap removal to clear the back row to get their monsters back, and I think that's just a really cool concept. Additionally, I think the equip concept of this archetype is pretty unique. I think it's pretty cool. I think it works. I think these are going to be cards that when you pull them out of Dooms of Dimension, this is a deck that clearly isn't finished. So I don't think that people should be putting so much stake in it being great right now. I think it's going to be better over time. And that's just my honest opinion. I think this is a decent like deck right now. It's just not like the best. I wouldn't see this at like meta play unless someone finds some sauce I'm not aware of. But I still think the card's cool. I think that the cards do pretty interesting things. And I think this is an archetype worth maybe spending some time to develop. So that's where I'm going to leave it here, guys. I didn't want to introduce you guys to Doom Z if you haven't already looked at it and know what the cards do. Every bit of the information to know these cards are here. And then you can figure out once you open Doom's Dimension what you want to do with this archetype. But that's all I've got for you today. Let me know down below what your favorite card is out of Dooms of Dimension. Also, are you excited for Dooms of Dimension and this deck coming out? Let me know down below as well. But also, this has been Brad from the Ad Army signing off, and for all of you out there, to sign on.